Hello. In this video, we want to go ahead and look at the solutions for this review. This is for exam 3, covering chapters 13 and 14. For each function, find the critical number or numbers, the open interval or intervals where the function is increasing and where it's decreasing. So in A here, f of x equals 4x cubed minus 15x squared minus 378x plus 6. So because this is a polynomial, the domain for this function is negative infinity to infinity. So any number that we get, any number that we get that is a critical number, or at least where the derivative is either equal to 0 or undefined, it is going to be a critical number because it will be in the domain. So the derivative here, f prime of x, is equal to 12x squared minus 30x minus 378. So I'm going to take this equation, set it equal to 0, and solve. So it's going to give me 12x squared minus 30x minus 378 equals 0, because that's where the derivative is either equal to 0 or undefined. Because it's a polynomial, it's never undefined, so just whenever it's equal to 0 here. Now, you can solve this any way you want to. You can try factoring, or you can just use the quadratic formula. I'm going to go ahead and just use the quadratic formula. The discriminant in the quadratic formula is b squared minus 4ac. So if I plug this stuff in, that gives me negative 30 squared minus 4 times 12 times negative 378. Now, when you go type this in, let's see what we got. So we have negative 30 squared minus 4 times 12 times negative 378. That's going to give me 19,044. Notice that the square root of that number is 138. So just keep that in mind. So using the quadratic formula, this is going to give me x equals negative b, which means positive 30, plus or minus the square root of 19,044, all over 2 times 12, which is 24. Good. And again, remember the square root of 19,044 is 138. So this is 30 plus or minus 138 all over 24. Now, if you break this up, 30 minus 38, what is that? 108 over 24. Sorry, negative 108 over 24. There we go. And 30 plus 138 over 24, that'd give me 168 over 24. And I'm not going to do that in my head. So I'm just going to go to the calculator. I'm going to type in negative 108 over 24, and then do math, enter. That gives me negative 9/2. And then do that with 168 over 24. And press math, enter, and that gives me, 7. Fantastic. Now, because this was an integer here, that's why we know that we would get fractions, or at least rational numbers here, which means, of course, we could factor that original equation. But that's okay. We don't have to do that now. Now, notice that negative 9/2 and 7 are both critical numbers. That's A here. B and C are defined where your function is either increasing or decreasing. To do that, just look at a number line. So on the number line, we have a negative 9/2 here and a 7 there. Now, I need test points to the left, middle, and right here. So to the left of negative 9/2, let's just say negative 5. Between them, let's say 0. And to the right of 7, well, let's just say maybe 8 or 10. It doesn't really matter what we use as long as it's to the right. Now, to do this, I'm not going to do this in my head. I'm just going to go to the calculator. On y equals, type in on y1 the original function, on y2 the derivative. And you can graph it if you want. This is what you see on the standard window. But if you press zoom 0 from there, this is what you're seeing. Here's your original function. Here's your derivative. Notice that to the left of -4/2, it's above. Between -4/2 and 7, it's below. And to the right of 7, it's above for the derivative. So it's positive, negative, and positive in those regions. Or to see that from the table, make sure that you're on table set, that you're on ask. So if you go to the table, you can just type in -5, 0, and 8. And we're looking for the y2s because we're looking for the derivative. So 72 is positive, -378 is negative, and 150 is positive. So it's positive, negative, and positive. Good deal. So it's going up, then down, then up. So B is asking where it's increasing and C where it's decreasing. So B, it's increasing on the interval from -infinity to -9/2, and then from 7 to infinity. Now you can use a comma or you can use a union. I don't really care what you use. I'm gonna go ahead and use a union. For C, we're looking for where is this decreasing? Well, it's decreasing starting at -9/2 and going to 7. And there we go. Fantastic. That's A. Have fun.